Can AI write code? Back in 2015, Andrej Karpathy created a project using neural networks to generate code. The model was trained by a large amount of code directly pulled from GitHub. This is what the AI produced. Keep in mind, this was back in 2015. The progress made from then is gigantic. OpenAI has proven that by using a much larger dataset, the results can be improved vastly. You can check out my other OpenAI video if you're interested into that. So, what does this mean for software developers? Are those jobs going to become obsolete? Before we start, please consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more of content like this. It also tells me that you like this type of videos and that I should produce more of them. So, let's get started. Even though the example I just gave looks like machines can already replace us today, that's not quite how things work as of today. The term AI gets thrown a lot, but in most cases what is meant by the term AI is machine learning, and as of now more and more models are using neural networks. This means that the best we can achieve at the moment is feeding a neural network large amounts of data and trying to predict the future outcome based on that. Don't get me wrong, this is an extremely complex topic that involves a lot of breakthrough technologies, but when summed up in a simple way, it comes down to feeding data into a neural network and predicting future outcomes based on that. The greatest breakthrough in the last time is the increase in computing power and the data size. The example I showed in the beginning of the video used a dataset which was 400 megabytes in size, basically a text document with plain text the size of 400 megabytes, so you can imagine that's a quite large chunk of data. Now if you look at OpenAI GPT-2, the size increased to 40 gigabytes of data, which is a 100-fold increase. Then again, if you look at GPT-3, the scale again increases tremendously. I couldn't find the exact number, but based on my research I'm guessing that this model had around a 90 to 100 increase in the training dataset compared to the previous model. If you compare that to the 2015 model, this is in total a 10,000 times increase in just 5 years. Even the 2015 version provided great results. So, what does this mean then? The technology has not fundamentally changed, but we could see that an increase in the training data yields better results, and this seems to stay true as the models become larger and larger. You can already observe that there are a lot of plugins and extensions already out there that can help you with spotting errors in your code, predicting functions and things you're trying to type out. Those tools work quite well in like 80 to 90% of cases, but it's nothing that groundbreaking. The technology was there for quite some time now. If you look at the OpenAI GPT-2 demonstration that was trained on a large GitHub dataset consisting of Python code, by typing out comments, the AI was able to come up with the Python code to solve the problem that was described in the comment. And it did that in a unique way. It didn't use the training data, but rather come up with a completely unique solution. But those tasks were quite simple and repetitive. But it sounds quite logical to think, okay, if this thing is able to produce such a simple function, with enough time it will be able to predict something much more complex. The greatest question when trying to achieve general artificial intelligence is, can this type of intelligence be achieved by training a large enough model? Or in other words, can we increase the quality of the model results infinitely by infinitely increasing our computing and training data size? We can't answer that question. As of now it seems to be working, but this doesn't mean anything for the possibility of general AI. When it comes to software engineering, we see already a huge wave of automation, especially in the front-end web development space. The first step were drag and drop buildings, frameworks like for example Elementor for WordPress. Now platforms are even starting to offer AI created landing pages and blogs. How does this work? The AI learns from what users want and therefore adjusts or readjusts the dashboard buttons and layouts to accommodate for that special behavior from that particular user. If you take a simple e-commerce website, for example, the entire process of building an e-commerce website is already 100% automated. You can go to WordPress, install some plugins that will then auto-generate a shop for you. Then you can go to a service like Magento, or maybe install some other plugins to auto-generate the backend for the shop, or maybe it is already generated with the plugins you already have. If you want to create a landing page and logo, you can do that with, for example, Wix within 10 minutes. If you want to create a blog, again, you can do that with WordPress, Go, Squarespace, Wix, or any other platform within just a few minutes. Even though all of that became so much easier and automated, the number of software jobs has still increased. But why? First of all, there is a demand of engineers to build and maintain those systems. But this is still a smaller number of people than the possible jobs replaced by that. The other reason is that by simplifying one level, there is another level being created. Now you need to think about custom email flows, spam filters, tracking conversion rates, tracking user interactions with the dashboards, and so on. This space is also getting quite automated now, but not near as much as the level before that. Nobody was thinking about conversions and follow-up emails based on customer journeys back in 2000. My guess is that we will just create a new abstraction layer or level as we automate one. And this is just one part of software development. When it comes to custom solutions, large-scale projects, this is a completely other topic. Let's take, for example, a project like managing and monitoring the production line in factories. An automaker like Volkswagen or Ford requires a robust and complex software to manage parts, monitor the production line, outsource products, keep sales tracks, and so on. Those types of projects can take many years to complete, and in the end they never really become complete. There is always something that needs to be updated or changed because the environment we live in is constantly evolving. There is so much more to software development than just building websites. And as one branch gets automated, there is another branch being created because we can shift our focus on something else, something new, something more complex. This is the main reason software development has evolved and become so complex over time. 20 years ago, companies would just create a static HTML website and that would be considered cutting edge. Today, something like a website learning how its users interact with it and readjusting its layout accordingly isn't considered that cutting edge anymore. This has made the job of a software engineer more complex because there are so many more components that go into software development today. And this is, for example, one thing that AI as of now cannot compete in. Building simple and standard websites is already automated to some degree. But connect, for example, multiple services together, deciding what to use where, creating prototypes, scaling infrastructure, and so on, are currently fields that are either not automated or only the most basic tasks are automated. I can imagine parts of that becoming automated as well. In other words, the more creative a task is and the more interaction with other humans it requires, the harder the task is to automate. In my opinion, until we reach an end goal of a super intelligent general AI, it is much better than humans themselves, if we ever achieve this, there will always be an endless stream of new opportunities as some other vanish. There is an endless path of innovation and evolution. As some aspects of software development become automated, new opportunities become possible. What will keep you from becoming replaced is always learning and staying on top. 10 years ago, it was enough to just know HTML, CSS, and jQuery. Now you need to know cloud infrastructure, you need to know React, Angular, Node.js, and so on. Even though that's much more, a lot of those things are much easier to handle with than it was, for example, writing in assembler code. As I see it, the goal of software engineering is to make life for people easier by automating things, and not to build a cool thing for the sake of it. As AI develops, we can shift our focus more into understanding needs, building solutions for people who actually need those types of solutions, making processes more efficient, and so on. And focus less on things like what programming language should be used to save computing time, or rather that thinking how to style a button with CSS, we can shift our focus more on thinking what type of buttons would yield the best customer experience. And as more and more tasks get automated, the requirements will keep increasing and we will be able to build more advanced and complex solutions. Marketing will, in my opinion, also see a huge automation wave where simpler and boring tasks will become much more automated, like choosing which images and colors to use in a banner, and AI will be able to predict what color codes and designs appeal for a certain type of product. But that's not a negative thing. It will leave much more room for strategic thinking and coming up with cool ad ideas. I think that as long as you keep learning and evolving over time, AI will not be able to replace you. But if you fall too much behind or develop just one skill that is quite repetitive, your job could possibly be fully automated at some point. Keep in mind, those are my thoughts based on my professional experience and the research I have done. I try to research all topics thoroughly, but at the end, nobody can predict the future. Maybe this will all be wrong in a few years and AI will be so advanced we won't have to do anything. Maybe we will also never achieve this. It will be interesting to see what the future holds. But for now, the best thing to do is to keep learning and evolving. This will for sure make your job safe in the near future. I hope you found this video entertaining and educational. This one was a bit different than what I'm planning to upload on this channel, but I thought it was a cool topic to cover nevertheless. If you liked it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more upcoming videos about software engineering, career and business. You can also subscribe to the newsletter, the link is in the description below, or just wait until the end screen to see it there. Thank you for watching and see you next time.